Hi, Ram. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad you were able to join. We're doing this podcast. It's really informal conversation where we talk about technology teams.
Hmm.
I call this business of software,
Hmm.
where it's not so much about technology specifics, but how the magic of software happens. Talk about teams, talk about distributed teams, talk about sort of, all the different things
Sure.
and hiring in today's
Yeah.
day and age. And obviously, we always touch on technology. These days, AI
Yeah.
takes the front seat in that conversation, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Tell us a bit about you.
Thank you so much, first of all, Zhenya, for having me here. Much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much excited. What's going to happen and what's coming in. So myself, I'm an engineer by profession. I have been an engineer for more than 10 plus years right now. Been almost in the field, almost like 15 years, I would say. So I'm pretty much I have been within engineering, within different departments all around my course of my career. Pretty much, predominantly, my area of expertise is within manufacturing. A lot of worked in different industries as well, in semiconductor or in automotive mainly, right now in medical, and of course tech here and there as well. So I have been around, and I'm currently in program management. So where you learn a lot, where you see a lot of people management, and
Yep.
more than that, it's just getting to know people, and also hiring, whatnot, what is right, what is wrong, getting to know others' perspective. That's pretty much my everyday routine. That's pretty much me, I
Cool.
would say. Long story
So,
short.
technology to program products, that's a pretty interesting transformation, and it
That's for
certainly
sure.
gives you perspective from different sides.
That's for sure. Yep.
So one thing that, and you said people management. So one thing that I want to touch on, and this topic sort of got old and now
Hmm.
is a topic again, right? So
That's
we
right.
all used to work in the office. Everybody was in the same office. Now, funny for me, I've I have not been to a physical office working since 2014.
Mm.
So it's now been 11 years since I've
Yep.
literally stepped into a physical office to do any kind of work. Yes. I mean, I have an office, but it's my home office. That's where I do all the work. And COVID came. Let's not talk about that. We all know what happened. Everybody went home, right? Everybody started working remotely. Then everybody sort of, in a way, came back at the same time, didn't come back. We're seeing a bunch of big guys, Google, Meta. Nope, everybody's going to be in the office. It sort of brings a memory for me. I used to live in San Francisco and commuted to San Jose,
Hmm.
which was a 50-mile drive. Took
Yep.
me, about an hour and a half. Back
Easy.
then, traffic
Easy.
wasn't as bad as it's now.
That's true. Yeah.
I had to ask for permission to work from home.
Okay.
Right? It was like, do you mind if I work from home tomorrow?
Interesting. Yeah.
Because the
Back
assumption
then.
was, and yeah, I'm talking about 95, 96, like a long time ago. And today, when I see this announcements from big guys, everybody's got to be in the office or look for another job. How do you feel about it? What do you think?
I mean, the dynamics has changed, definitely, right? Like, I mean, if you ask me, like, I'm an old school for sure. I would love to be in the office, and I would love
Okay.
to, just talk to people. It can be even Teams, or it can be even going to the desk or something. But when it comes to nowadays getting this hybrid or even work from home, like completely remote culture, that's totally different. And also, when even CEOs and top presidents and everyone from different companies, not even the big biggies, tech leaders or something, even the other
Mhm.
companies, they are right now in a position where you used to be in this position, right? Like, you used to work from office. Like, why are you just a matter of 5 years? What happened to you guys, right? So definitely there is a mind shift, I would say. But at the same time, to your question, people are hesitant to actually take a job if they are not being
Absolutely.
flexible.
Absolutely.
Right. I would just put it in a way that if they are not flexible, right, even if it can be anything, right, I need work from home. It's kind of becoming a mandate in most of the job descriptions that I'm seeing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
easy. Yeah.
So what's your take on engagement, people management, interactions? You
Hmm.
mentioned you're an old school guy. I'm an old school guy. I like interaction. I like talking to people. I like
Yeah.
the casual, water cooler conversation,
Exactly.
going
Yep.
for lunch, things that probably young kids don't even understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But What's your take now that we've moved to remote
Hmm.
world? How are you handling it? And I'm happy to share what we do and how we do this, but I'd love to hear what you do.
I mean, people are being flexible right now, right? Like, I cannot expect people to, come and talk to me, or if I go and talk to them, say, for example, a person is actually working from home. If I just wanted to have some conversation of, what's happening with you, what's hitting the project and everything. So I don't usually do formal conversations. I do a lot of casual conversations where I try to get things done as well. That's how you actually get things done when you're, being a manager and kind of a people's person too. But I cannot expect in this kind of generation where you can be casual, or you can just, take 5 or 10 minutes break and just give me a call if you're remote, right? Like, they,
Hmm.
they would be having their own time, like they would be having their family time, or they would be having some conversation with their friends or something. So it's definitely difficult, I would say, but it's becoming, I think, for old school guys like me or you just have to get adapted to it. I would say, in that
Absolutely.
way, right?
I can share what we've done.
Hmm.
So, my company, we
Yeah.
are 100% remote. And what
Oh,
I
okay.
mean by 100% remote, we do not have a single person in the
Hmm.
office. We now have two people in the same country, but before we didn't even have two people in the same country. It's like
And you
it's
didn't have an
fully
office too,
remote.
right?
Everybody. What's that?
Got it. And you didn't have an office too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's all correct, of course. Right. Okay.
And remember in the old days, you're
Hmm.
sitting like not don't think cubicles, right? Everybody's in the same room,
Yeah.
startups,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden somebody, will take a piece of paper, throw it at somebody, and 5 minutes later, the balls are flying around and people are having
Correct.
fun.
Yeah.
So that you can't replicate. Obviously, you
Of
just
course not.
cannot. But we've done the closest we could,
Hmm.
not intentionally. We've never, like, it was never in anybody's mind, let's do this.
Hmm.
We chat, right?
Mm.
We have a group chat where
Nice.
everybody's on
Yep.
and we just talk, right?
Yep.
Hey, somebody will make a joke and somebody will send a funny picture and
Yep.
somebody will talk about the
Yep.
weekend and the family.
Yep.
And today was my daughter's graduation. So I was like,
Correct.
yeah, hey guys, I'm
Mm.
running to my daughter's, like today
Nice.
actually was my daughter's
Of
graduation,
course.
right?
Oh,
So,
that's
hey,
good.
this is what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Uh huh.
And that, yes, it's different because it's not verbal,
Mm-hmm.
it's not visual,
Yep.
but it still connects people, right? It
Of course.
creates that touch. And
Yeah.
then, so we have a rule.
Mm-hmm.
Any conversation is on Zoom only, on video, right? We use Zoom, but
Sure.
whatever, the video only, because you want to see the person, you want to look them in the eyes, you want to do this.
Right.
Does sometimes happen, like I'll be in the car driving?
Yep.
Sure, like I am
Yeah,
driving,
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
going to turn on the video today,
Correct.
but 99% of conversations are on video.
That's good. Yeah.
I have people working for me I've never met in real life, ever. Never seen them like real life. I mean,
Yes.
obviously,
Yeah, yeah. Of
yeah.
course.
So I think that creates a very interesting dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, for us old school guys, it gets even more interesting.
It's even more interesting, trust me,
Yeah.
with all these Teams chat and or group chat or Zoom chat, Microsoft, whatever it is. It's becoming more and more popular, and at the same time, uh, it's nice too. Sometimes it's nice, if someone is having a bad day or something like that, or if someone wants to talk about a team or something, they just send a gift for, so they just send a sticker or something, right? Like
Hmm.
in Teams, so which actually makes the whole group, come and have a look at it. We have a separate Teams for separate groups. I mean, separate groups, Teams chat for each and every teams, right? Like, I have separate teams for different groups or different projects group, where we share, like you said, like personal things, or it can be professional things, joking at each other. So those kind of things are becoming a norm, which is kind of making the team stick together, which is more than, sometimes it's more than, one-on-one.
Okay.
Sometimes it's more than, in-person conversation as well. So which is good in one way. As far as, there is some people interaction is all I care about, which is good in one way, and it is also going in a good
Yep.
path. Yep.
Are you guys international or is everybody in the
Yes.
US? Like, okay.
A lot in
What?
international. Like, I have worked from teams. I mean, right now, working in Mexico, working in, Japan. Sometimes, most of the time, in China. In my past life, I used to work teams in Korea or Japan or Germany. During COVID times, I used to work with people in Germany, big time, and there
Okay.
used to be some, language problems, or translator would be
Yep.
there in between. Yeah, all sorts of things. And we used to have plants in Mexico, in Spain, everywhere. So I used to manage different teams, different time zones, and you just got to, know along, and you need to know the time differences as well. So sometimes I go at like midnight to work, because the team in Japan, that's a 12-hour change.
Right.
So when I have customers in different parts of the world, I used to, work in different time zones. So yeah, so it's as much as it's fun, it's no fun.
how do you manage cultural differences in the same team where people are used to different things? I've done some work with Japan, very different culturally than
Very much,
US,
very
very
much.
different than Europe.
Yep, I had bosses from three different culture, three different bosses. The first boss I had was a French, second one was Japan, and third one was a Chinese. Everyone had different culture, different perspective. But the one thing that commonly that I got to know is, of course, I'm an Indian too. So you have different culture, and I bring a different culture too. So the one thing that I actually is brought into table is another professional respect between different cultures, and professionally you have to respect each other in terms of how you
Of
talk,
course.
what you talk as well. The way you address, especially when it comes to Japanese, they address differently. They address you instead of sir, they use san. So they have different terminologies as well. But usually when it's some kind of different culture, I get to know their culture as well. Like I try to ask questions, what do you do in your culture? Like if me and the other person is trying to go for a lunch or dinner or whatever it is, or one-on-one, I try to start casually by, what do you do in your workplace? Like how do you used to work back home? What is your, like, you I have heard this, that, and everything from everywhere. Is it true? Like something kind of engaging to make them feel fine and
Hmm.
not awkward, to not share their culture as well, and also not feel bad.
Right.
So that's how I approach though.
It reminds me, I was running an engineering team before I had my own company.
Oh, okay.
I was running an engineering team for a US company, and we had a
Mm-hmm.
team in Ukraine and we had a team in India.
Mm,
And having them being in the same meeting and
yeah.
communicating with each other
Yeah.
was, as opposite as you can possibly get. So the culture, and the Indian culture, but the culture in Ukraine, no matter what you say, it doesn't matter whether you're their boss, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter. They will
Mm-hmm.
argue,
They
right? They will argue.
like.
They will say, hey, I need you to do XYZ. The first answer that comes out in the second, it cannot be done. And then there's going to be 15 minutes of how it should be done, eventually
uh,
getting to actually a really good
I.
response. Whether you have the Indian team, you never argue, you never undermine your boss, and you always say yes.
It's more of a
That
culture.
was,
That is
yeah,
so true. I have
yeah,
I have a I have a Romanian as well in my team. Used to as well. They are very direct, right? I mean, of course,
yep.
Indians are sometimes they're direct. Sometimes, most of the times, they're not. That person is very direct, and I'd be
Hmm.
like, "Oh my God, is he? Was he rude to me?" Like I'd be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
no,
right?
exactly.
But no, once you get to know with that person, when I go with a drink or something with that person, he'll be like the most best person that I have ever met. So it's just different. That's how, when I say people management, you tend to learn different things from different people, even if it's like Indian, or a different nationality or ethnic. Even if there are 10 people of the same ethnic group, they tend to behave differently. That's personality. But different like cultural setting, it's very interesting to learn, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fun.
Well, very interesting.
That's good.
So I want to touch on hiring, and I want to touch on hiring from two angles.
Yep.
One is, again, international culture, remote. Right? It used to be somebody comes in the office
Correct.
and you can sort of assess their personality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about technical skills,
Yep.
right? Assessing technical
Yeah, yeah.
skills, whether you
Of
do it in
course.
office or remote, it's exactly the same. It doesn't matter. But you can see, is this the person I really want to be in the same room with for extended
Mm-hmm.
period of time?
I agree.
Much more difficult to do that on Zoom
That's
or
true.
on any kind of video.
That's right.
And at the same time, the other aspect, hiring technology. Used to be, right? I was a hiring manager for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not hiring manager, but I'm hiring, right? That's what my company does. We're hiring people day in, day out.
Yep.
But you look at the resume, you try to understand that resume, it takes you some time, then you talk to the person, then you do a technical interview, then you talk to the person again,
Yep.
and then you pray, right? You hope it works
Correct.
out.
Correct.
Now there's lots of tools that help you out to do that. Obviously, AI is
Yep.
being very essential to it, but even not AI, right? I'm talking about different tools.
Different tools. Yeah.
What do you guys do? How do you handle that? How do you manage that?
So hiring process, like every company like that I used to work, and also the company that I'm working with, they have a set of process, like set of steps that we used to follow for any hiring process. There was one where, yes, AI was in place, like when you're actually kind of screening out some resumes or anything for that matter. But again, when it comes to hiring for technology, hiring for talents, I would say, I would
Mhm.
call it in knowledge perspective, most of the time it has been one-on-one. When it comes to me, or when it comes to my superior asking me to interview someone, I would love to have them in person most of the time, but at the same time, we need to accommodate different time zones, different structure, and also their schedules and my schedule. So Zoom or Teams is not a problem for me. But again, to actually hire for talent, I would definitely prefer in person. But again, with the growing technology, with the growing the tools that we have, it actually makes easier, I would say. Sometimes it makes easier, or most of the time it makes it easier, because when you just input some inputs on the AI tool, say for example, we wanted to hire this person, or we want to hire this position for a person who knows this. If I give that input to that particular AI, so whenever me and that person is having a conversation, it automatically jot down or summarizes it. Okay, this person is good at this person is good at that.
Hmm.
What do you say? So it actually gives me the work that I used to do in Excel spreadsheet, right? So I
Yeah.
used to do it in a spreadsheet where I used to have the top KPIs, the indicators for every person that I'm
Hmm.
interviewing, that okay, this person is lacking on this person is good on this, blah blah blah. Based on the position or based on the job responsibility, this person would be good. But now there is something that can do this for me to make my decision faster. So I would say it helps out in a different way. It reduces our work, that's for sure. But at the same time, we have to, double check before we make a informed decision, I would say.
You seeing the flip side of that, where candidates are also using tools and AI?
That's for sure. Oh, yeah. The thing is, since we have seen hiring managers, you have been in that position. I'm in that position too. So hiring managers know if getting to a resume is being AI grammarly checked. You have typed sentences by your own or something,
Yeah.
right? Like they kind of figured out. I think so. Me with my colleague, we used to see some resumes and we see that okay, this is not something that I see it's validated or something, right? It's been validated through ChatGPT,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that, right? Some AI tool. It can be anything. So I think that notion is getting changed. I would say when this AI tool was kind of introduced, maybe 5 or 8 years ago, it was a big thing. I would say, like at least 5 years ago, like right after COVID, it became very popular to generate resumes through AI. Even now, it is getting very popular
Yeah.
as well. But I think that that flip side is definitely sad, but at the same time people are getting smart to actually know if this resume is actually valid or not, right?
Yeah.
Like they have tools to actually validate if this resume is from a tool or not.
Yeah. We're definitely seeing the resumes being AI generated,
Hmm.
which is not that big of a problem.
Yep.
Like that's okay.
Yep.
It just
That's
gets
true.
them an interview. But
Correct.
we are seeing AI prompting them for answers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And we've actually seen several deepfakes already.
Really? Okay.
Mm.
Interesting. Well, again, at the same time, like even if you fake your resume or something like that, you still gonna. If at all, say for example, you're gonna ask a question or something, you would definitely know if that person is faking it or not. That's easy.
Yeah. So, what we do, what we see is we still have a human doing an interview, and, we're seeing this, right? So I'm
Right.
talking to you right now, right?
Right.
And
Correct.
it's also weird. Everybody sort of got used to it. Like I can't, like my camera is just a little bit higher. So,
Mm-hmm.
I can look at the camera, but then I'm
Yep.
not looking at you. But when I'm looking
Correct.
at you, I'm not looking at the camera. And so what
Correct.
we're seeing all of a sudden, right, the person starts looking like this and they're answering like this, like, where are you looking? Or
Yeah.
they sit and you ask the question and then you see this,
Yeah. Ah.
the
Right.
eyes are just
Gotcha.
start
Yeah.
moving,
Yeah.
right?
Start
Like,
moving.
okay, you're reading. I mean,
Yeah. You're
you're
really not
not that
casual.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
If you
Okay.
want to
Yeah.
read, get a good
I agree.
teleprompter and read on the of a teleprompter,
That's
not
for sure.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays the AI is even recording. Say for example, I'm actually running this podcast like, in speakers, and I have my phone or something, running on the side. So, and I can actually, ask the tool to actually record your question, and it just gives me an answer, and I just have it near my laptop or something. So
Yeah.
anything is possible, I think nowadays.
Right.
It's just, yeah, you just have to be, I don't know, smart enough to just to know what is what, if it is really right or not.
It's a different world.
It's a different
It is
world
a
for
different
sure.
world.
It's a different world. We are heading into a much more advanced world, I would say. It's
Yeah.
getting, it's not getting any going back.
Oh, no, 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 no.
No.
I mean, I love AI personally for my business and even for my life.
Mm-hmm.
I am pushing the limits even of what AI can do. Like I've
Mm.
learned to build virtual boards.
Nice.
I really
Nice.
use I use
Yeah. Yeah.
ChatGPT
Yeah.
mostly,
Sure.
but it's my partner
Sure.
in discussions. Right? I go,
Mm.
hey, brainstorm ideas, and you get some interesting input and
Nice.
output and critique.
Yeah.
It's not afraid to offend you, so it actually tells you what it is.
Yep, and companies actually do support and also encourage actually using that the tool, right? So
Yeah,
nowadays, because AI has become like everywhere, Microsoft has an AI, Google has an AI, so everything has an AI, like Copilot, Gemini, can be anything. So it's
I
becoming on a daily basis.
just sort of, I want to
Yeah,
be conscious of your time. So,
yeah,
we're not going to, we're going to end
sure.
pretty soon. But something that I did the other day, which blew my mind away,
Mm-hmm.
I asked ChatGPT. So I, started a brand new conversation,
Yeah.
and I said, based on everything you know about me,
Mm-hmm.
please describe me.
Mm,
And it gave me, a description, which was very accurate. And then I said, okay, expand this to include not only work related, because it mostly gave work,
sure.
not only work related, but just everything else. So it did. And then I said, okay, based on that, if I my question was, if I were looking for a job, please describe the job I would be perfect for. It did that. Then I said, can you write job description for my job, right, for me? And then I said, can you tell me about my management style,
Yeah.
about my interactions? And so he did all of this.
Okay.
And I shared that without any modifications, like literally shared a link to that chat with some people that I advise, some people that work for me, and they all went, what?
Mm,
Unbelievable. We wouldn't
really?
be able to say this better than it did. It is
Wow.
spot on
Yeah.
in how you interact and how you talk and how you're perceived in in what you expect and everything. And I was like, wow,
Yeah, that's mind
it's a
blowing. I mean,
machine
especially
that
especially when you ask, like, talk, tell me about myself.
yeah,
That is something.
yeah, no, absolutely. Very interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Definitely.
All right, Ram. Well,
All
thank you
right.
so much. Thank
No
you for your
worries.
time.
Yeah.
It's
Thanks for
it
having
was
me
a
as
fun
well. I mean,
conversation.
it was definitely a fun conversation, and thanks for having me again.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you. See ya.